Good morning and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Smell the Coffee. In today's episode, I'm going to immerse myself into the world of dog training. I'm going to learn what it is like to train a dog and also why it's important to, have these things for your dogs in place. And of course, we'll plug you in with the latest in our entertainment news and of course, what's happening in the world of sports. I'm your host, Glenna Rashipura, and this is Smell the Coffee.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Okay.
Now I'm sitting here with Franklin from the Dog Lovers Club.
The dog club, yeah.
I know, but I want to call it Dog Lovers Club because everybody here loves dogs, right?
Yeah. The idea here is that, your name, your human name,
Yes.
we can know at least 5 months later, but the
Yes.
dog matters to us.
The dog matters more. Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to say something to the viewers. When I got here, they first asked me what the dogs' names were before they asked me
Yeah.
my name. So I can get it. I really get it. It's a Dog Lovers Club.
Yeah.
How are you? And welcome to Smell the Coffee.
Thank you so much. I'm metaphorically thinking about the coffee, so that works.
Yeah, no.
Thank you for having us.
No, I'm quite excited. I love dogs. I feel like I'm not as equipped coming into your space.
Yeah.
And just the talk, I'm like, oh, wow, I really don't know much in terms of even how to train my dogs. And that's what you guys are doing. But it's not even about training dogs, as
Yeah.
you guys explained to me earlier. Can you just tell me how you found yourself at the dog club?
Yeah. So I think ultimately the point is that if you do not love dogs, then maybe don't have them. I'd like to make that point very clear. But ultimately, I had the privilege of growing up with dogs. I come from a home where dogs were, it's like a taboo to say, but they really were part of the family. That it's not just like an animal that you have that's there to protect the house or whatever. I grew up with dogs like that were very sentimental to me. And so eventually, I remember going to the SPCA, and I think just like Sonia would say, I walked in there and I recall the first time I saw the dogs that I now have, Benji and Pandora, I just knew these were the ones. Like intuitively, you just knew. I just knew these were the ones. But at the same time, I also then understood that because these are living organisms, the beauty with dogs is always, for me personally, has always been that every day I come home, it's like it's the first time they're seeing me. Dogs are generally, they like absorbers of energy. So I thought to live with dogs like this, you need, first of all, to understand how they work. And so the dog club was the one-stop shop for understanding what a dog is, how the dog behaves. And like you're saying, it's more than just the activity. It's actually about bonding. It's about trust. Because the dog needs to understand that, you mean me no harm. You see, like these two now, that are clearly having the time of their lives. So that's really
I'm
how
seeing.
I
Oh, I see. Because we also, I think like I've been approaching training a dog very wrong. I've been approaching it from the just do the tricks or whatever. And it's cool, but it's not about that. It's more than that. It's about what you said. You're forming a bond with the dog, and it's before the dog jumps over the hoop. It's because I had formed a bond and trust. Can you explain to us some of the behavioral misconceptions in dogs? Like sometimes you find an aggressive dog and you're like, oh, that's a bad dog. Is that true about dogs?
I think those misconceptions also come from like cultural spaces. And I speak in my capacity culturally that sometimes because we don't understand the behavior of the dog, we just assume it's the case. We assume something because out of fear. Okay, so for example, why do dogs charge at people? Or why do we scream at dogs? I mean, there was a story not so long ago. It's a sad story, but I'm making use of this story because it's very important for us to understand how dogs reason. And there was a specific group of young people who were, for the lack of better word, they were provoking this dog consistently for like a good 3 months. And then eventually, because of frustration, because that's the nature of a dog, this dog then and retaliate. The dog is not retaliating because it's an aggressive dog. The dog is retaliating because of the behavior that you've given to it. And so for most of us, for example, we either have dogs because we want them to protect our households. We would like to make it very clear here now that dogs are not security guards, they're not alarms, they're not electric fences either. They are living organisms. And I know from a cultural point, we generally get the dog and park the dog at home. And so sometimes the behavior of the dog is because the environment is not befitting to the dog. You got a highly energetic dog in a very small space, or you got a dog that needs a bit more social interaction, and that's not who you are. And so now over a long period of time, the dog starts to defragment in a sense because it can't speak back to you in human language, and you've not taken the time to understand it in its language. And so now there's that level of frustration. And so most of us have wrong dogs for wrong environments, really.
And it's something that I don't think we all look at it, right? Like somebody will get a husky, but you have you don't have, or even the lifestyle, not necessarily like the environment, but the lifestyle. You might have a big backyard, but you are barely at home.
Yeah.
You don't have time to really interact with the dog. And it's the dog that needs a lot of, energy, and he needs to do a lot of activities per se, and you are not equipped for that.
Yeah.
So that's also another factor that people need to look at. Like,
yeah, so the idea of bonding is this. Think of it like a child, okay? So the dog will not do anything outside it trusting you. You don't build trust with a dog by making it jump or making it go through a tunnel. That you build differently. That's something that you do you don't need to go to a club for that. It's something that you do daily. It's like affirmation for a dog. Like if you came home and you're very passive, the dog can understand that, but the dog needs to understand that it's a safe space here. I'm welcomed here. And so because you are building that bond and trust, the dog now knows if I say to Benji, hey, jump, it's like, yeah, no, clearly it's come from a healthy space. But most of us, perhaps because, again, lack of knowledge or just maybe pure ignorance, we much rather first want a circus before we want a dog. But the dog is not a robot, okay? There are times where maybe your dog just does not like to jump.
so it doesn't want to jump.
Yeah, but maybe it's
I'm not in the mood today.
Yes, or maybe it's like the most social dog at home. It's very warm, it just draws you in. And those are the perks that we're talking about. That yes, at the dog club, ultimately, this that you see at the back, that's what we do as an activity, but that's why we don't train dogs per se, we train the owner. Because it won't make sense for you, it's not a doggy daycare. It won't make sense for you to bring the dog and go home because you need to leave with the dog.
Ah,
yes.
I see.
So we need to train you, the owner.
I think there's a lot of stuff that we really don't know as owners as well. Like I feel like I have to do a deep dive and also bring my dogs here.
Yeah.
As we saw, I had brought two dogs, my dogs from home, and the one dog he got here and he was very aggressive, and he.
Yeah.
But you guys explained to me it's because it's a different environment for him. He doesn't feel safe.
And Sonia will explain that a little bit better.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. After the break, we'll also delve a little bit more into that. So it's just these little things that I think owners don't know. What would you say can help owners or people get better? It's not even sometimes not even like they're bad owners. They just
don't know.
Yes, and it's not even. I don't want to say ignorance as well. It's just they don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always been of the opinion that you perhaps want to get the information first before you would get the dog. So, for example, let's assume that you were an aggressive owner because you didn't know. Okay, and now you've come to the light, and now you know, and we are trying to rehabilitate you in a sense. But now the dog has marked you as a place of trauma, for example, because you've been shouting at it, you've been throwing it with stuff, and when it's for example trying to express itself, you're generally harsh. Now that you are learning to treat it well. Unfortunately, unlike the human being, the dog remembers it. When the dog sees you now, you are the place of its trauma. So even if you're trying to now change, it still identifies you as such. So I would say it possibly would be, the best thing would be to get a bit more information before you get a dog. Because by getting information, it also informs you to know, oh, which type could I get? What would I need to do? What would its routine be? Because different breeds are designed for different things. We were talking earlier about how dogs like Huskies are generally very working dogs. These are labor dogs. And so if you don't have that time, the dog is frustrated. And you're like, why is it digging up my trees? It's not because it's aggressive. It's just that it's in the wrong space, or perhaps you also don't have the time to allow for it to express that energy. So I would ultimately say, look, first of all, get information. If you already have the dog, and perhaps you're not the best owner in a sense, it's also not a problem to give the dog away. or to give it over to the SPCA, or to...
If you feel like you
yes,
can't take
if you really
on.
feel like you can't. Because ultimately what we are saying is that a dog is a living organism. It really is. And in itself, it's got its own language. And it would be to your benefit as the owner to understand the mannerisms of that dog. We were talking earlier about dogs that were, say, adopted from homes where they were traumatized.
Yes.
You see, and again, it's not a one-day situation, you see. That means you need to be patient. You could, just to work out a small mannerism issue with your dog could take you years. Maybe your dog is generally scared. Now you're like, I don't want it to be scared. Then you must be willing to do the time. It could take you years to do that. So you must get the dog not as a trickster,
Yeah.
but really that it's a member of your household.
No, that I totally understand. Like, because I've been having, pets ever since I was a kid. But like the last dog that we got, which is Keto, he was just here now.
Yeah.
We got him from the SPCA, but very quickly on we figured he was coming from an abusive something. Because if somebody towers over him, he runs. And when you give him food, you need to give him space before he goes and eats it. So there's like a whole, but over time, it's not yet there.
Yeah.
He is starting to come around, and,
Yeah.
and he is starting to become more trustable. Like you said, it's a process of, patience. Anyways, before I let you go, any final words that you have to say to the viewers?
So there's a very big, I like to address cultural misconceptions, because sometimes it's through the misconceptions that we have years of like, what do you call it? Like we have years of wrongdoing. One, it's okay to realize that perhaps you're not the dog type. That's also okay. Two, it's also very important for you to, if you don't know, it's better for you to go ask. Remember, different breeds are designed for different purposes. And what we are saying is that it's not a one-time fix situation, right? You need to have patience with your dog. You need to invest in your dog, because I know that culturally we also tend to just give dogs whatever, the leftovers, every other bone from the pot. What we are saying is you wouldn't give that to your child, would you? And if you wouldn't give that to your child, why would you give it to a dog? It is okay to not know, but it's also okay to allow the dog to just be a dog. Simple as that. If you don't know, the dog club is here. We'll give you the information. We'll give you the right spaces for you to take your dogs to in an event where you can't handle them anymore.
No, thank you so much, Franklin. All right, we'll be right back after the break.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
I'm joined by Sonia from the Dog Lab. She is the agility trainer, and she's here to tell us a little bit more about what it means to be a trainer and just what they do here at the Dog Club. Good morning and welcome to Smell the Coffee.
Thank you very much.
And to be fair, I think we should be actually saying thank you for having us, because we are at your premises and these are beautiful premises, I must say.
Yeah, we're very proud of this, to have this space.
They look very exciting for a dog and for me myself, if it's possible to play on the...
Yeah, but this is not something that a dog does automatically.
Yeah.
Right. You have to start training a dog from the scratch, and their tricks are not the main things. Bonding, trust, that is the main training aspects that we have. We are not professionals, we are dog lovers, but we do have registered judges, trainers from the KUSA. KUSA is the Kennel Unit Southern Africa. They set the standards for dog training. So it is an international standard, and we do have dog trainers who are registered and can judge at shows and can judge at competitions. And very important for us, Canine Good Citizen, bronze, silver, gold. This is the base for everything. This is how you train your dog to live your life in a harmonic way. You know? That means how to walk a dog on a lead without pulling, or everything. You know, don't be aggressive about food. You know, that's general problems that people have in their houses with their dogs.
Okay, I totally understand. Like, just talking to you, I have a friend. They have a dog. I think she's a Jack Russell, and she's very protective over their little boy. So now he goes out into the complex with his dog, and another kid, I don't know, wants to take something from the little boy, and then the dog gets in between of that. So obviously he's shown aggression, and now what would their predicament be? Because they're like, we just have to send him to the farm. And I'm like, no, there's other methods around this. So what would you advise someone like that has gone
coming here for the first time? So we start with the bonding. The dog has to understand, well, this is my human, but not in a protective way. This is my safe space, you know, and we do have techniques to train, but there is not a general technique. We have as trainers have to look at the dogs and see their characters, see their individual problems, and then we design a training for the dogs, right? So overprotectiveness is something they actually don't feel secure. They don't trust the human because they have to take over the role of the human. It should be the human protecting and not the dog. But they first then have to learn to trust you. It's okay that they can step back. You know? Most dogs doesn't actually want to take decisions by themselves.
Oh, okay, but this is with a toddler now. That's what I mean. Like he's like maybe 4 years old, so he's protective over him in that regard. So I don't know how we can empower a toddler to, you know.
Not the toddler.
You have to
the
empower
parents.
the parent.
Exactly.
So if something happens at the playground, the dog would know. Yeah, actually, I don't know how that would work out.
Okay, first of all, you don't let a toddler and a dog at a playground without any adults around.
Okay.
Never leave a toddler and a dog alone. Very important, because they are animals. Toddlers does not understand. Maybe they pull the ear, maybe they pull the tail, you know. That can hurt.
Yeah.
And it's not aggression then, it's just, what do you do? Stop it. Ah! And then the dog bit the toddler. Actually, it's the fault of the adult who had not been looking after the toddler and the dog. Right?
Oh, now I get it. Okay, I see. So now that's why they need to build that system of trust and bonding with the dog. Okay, I get that. Now you do offer different types of training here. Can you just briefly tell us what they are?
Yes. So we do have puppy training, which is very important because then right from the start you train the dog to trust you. And it's not like a strict training. No, it's playing, and through playing with your little puppy, they learn trust. You know, they learn to trust you, and that's most important. We do have an 8-week course for puppies, and the aim is to have a young dog that listens to you, that can walk on a lead. You know, we do have a little test at the end. And people are very proud to see what they achieved in these 8 weeks. Right? So this is our puppy class. If you, for example, go to the SPCA and get an adult dog, we have got the rookies class, we call it. So this is the beginners class for adult dogs. And actually the same, what we do with the puppies, it's just that it's not puppies anymore, it's adult dogs. And so basic training, as I said, so that they fit into your daily life. You know, if people want to do more than that, if they really like training their dogs, we offer obedience classes, agility classes, and very interesting, since a few years, we do Canine Good Citizen. Canine Good Citizen is in bronze, silver, and gold testing. Bronze is more or less not yet what the puppies have learned, it's a bit more, but this is the basis. And from there you can go up. And I love this training because It doesn't train like the dog walking right next to your left side. It's practical. It's things you probably learn how to sit your dog, leave him for a few minutes, even out of sight, and they stay there, you know. But you have to train this. The emergency stop, very important. You sit your dog over there, you go away, you call your dog comes to you, and you are able to stop your dog halfway. That is important. You know, just imagine your dog runs away and shouldn't, but there's a street and you can stop your dog. That is fantastic, isn't it?
Oh, very interesting. I didn't even know that there were so many, you know, courses and options available.
We also have got what me and other trainers do, the agility classes, and the agility is dog sport. You know, it's what you see in the background: jumping, tunnels, A-frame, dog walk. This is like a game for the dogs, but actually here as well, we don't really train the dogs. We train the owner how to direct with clear body language, because the body language is the language that our dogs speak. They don't understand our words, or very few.
Yeah.
They look at you, they see your body language. Also in daily life, this is very important. For example, if someone is scared of dogs and runs away, well, this is a clear sign of, wow, I follow you. So they read our body language, right?
Oh, wow.
We use that in training.
This is so mind, blowing and mind opening, I feel like, for me, and I guess other dog lovers out there as well. What would you say is important? Why is it important that, somebody can enroll a dog at the dog club? Why is it important that we invest in this type of things for our dogs, in general?
Because we want to have happy dogs and happy people. And it's a lot of misunderstanding out there, from humans to dogs. They don't understand, they can't read their dogs. They don't know what their needs are, And through the help of our trainers, we can direct you to understand and read your dog a lot better, which is important, so that you and your dog can communicate. Most important, communication is everything, but they don't speak our language. So we have to learn how to read and how to communicate with our dogs.
Awesome. So before I let you go, where can people contact you if they want to bring their dogs to the dog club?
Okay, the Windhoek Dog Club has got a website and a Facebook page. There you'll find all information, all telephone numbers and email address, of course. So on the internet and Facebook, or you just come here to Avis and say hello.
Okay, awesome. I will definitely, I've already brought my dogs, but I will definitely be coming for those lessons, because it turns out I need to be trained, right? As a dog owner. We'll be right back with more Smell the Coffee.
Good.
Thank you.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Now it turns out Keto and I have a lot of work to do in terms of just, learning some behavioral stuff, bonding, and also some dog tricks that, the dog club is going to teach me. So from me, Glenora and Keto, say hi to the camera, Keto. It's all our love, and till next time.